Over the past year, the Lakers have hired a guy he co-hosted a podcast with. They also drafted Bronny James, and then all made statements like Bronny had earned the right to be a second-round pick when that's not even close to accurate.
Not possible.
Then they played Bronny the first game of the season. And throughout times in the NBA season, while giving him a guaranteed 4-year contract, despite the fact he was like, the 55th pick in the NBA draft? The whole thing is a massive contradiction and a statement of being ungrateful.
Doug Gottlieb just fired straight at LeBron James, and he did not soften the blow. He called him selfish, ungrateful, and out of sync with a franchise that has done everything possible to keep him happy. That's not light criticism. That's a direct shot at one of the biggest names in sports. And this debate is way bigger than one contract or one season. It's about power, loyalty, and what happens when a superstar's grip on a franchise starts slipping.
Rich Paul was the guy who LeBron met, I think, selling jerseys out of the back of his car, right? So he's part of, started from the bottom, now we're here.
Is this a real critique or just another loud media swing at a legend? Does LeBron still put winning above everything, or is the story finally shifting? That's the real tension here.
He had this statement to ESPN. LeBron wants to compete for a championship, Paul told ESPN. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance at winning it all. We're very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with Jeanie and Rob Pelinka and consider the Lakers as a critical part of his career. We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage of his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that and are supportive of what's best for him.
For years, LeBron has been praised as a basketball mastermind. High IQ, elite leadership, the guy who makes everyone around him better. That's been the brand. But Gottlieb flips that whole image upside down. He argues that behind the greatness is a pattern, one where LeBron's preferences quietly shape entire organizations around him. We're not just talking about lineups. We're talking roster construction, coaching hires, long-term strategy, and the overall direction of a franchise. That's serious influence. And now, with the Los Angeles spotlight burning hotter than ever, critics are asking a bold question. Did the Lakers give him everything he wanted, only to face public pressure and visible frustration in return?
You have to match up your actions with your words.
Facts.
If LeBron wants to win a championship, well then, why would you opt into a deal that pays you $53 million?
Real talk.
Because here's how it really works. If you want to win, you know you got to take less so that you can pay more to go out and get guys on the free agent market. And if you want to guarantee yourself a big fat paycheck, what you can do is you can backload a contract, do it as a player-only option, and you play a year with the Lakers. And oh yeah, by the way, if it doesn't work out, you want to retire, you have them buy their way out of an opt-out or whatever, or you go somewhere next year. There's a million different things you can do.
The influence debate is where things really heat up. The Lakers brought in J.J. Redick, someone LeBron had clear podcast chemistry with. They drafted his son, Bronny James, a young player stepping into the league with massive expectations. They reshaped the roster again and again to fit LeBron's championship timeline. Gottlieb says that's not random. That's intentional alignment around one superstar's orbit. And when championships didn't stack up right away, the energy reportedly shifted. The tone moved from appreciation to visible dissatisfaction. That's what critics are pointing at. When you have that much sway, people expect accountability to match.
You can say you're appreciative of Jeanie and Rob Pelinka. Your actions are far different.
Yep.
Because if you're really appreciative, why would you release a statement? If you really want to win a championship, why'd you release a statement? How it lands on me is poorly because it feels like the Lakers, and LeBron has talked about it, and he always couches it with I understand. Now we're building around Luka. This is LeBron James and Rich Paul pouting and trying to exert some sort of leverage that doesn't actually exist. This is no different than LeBron when he was leaving Cleveland the second time, leaking out there that could be interested in the San Antonio Spurs, who had no interest in LeBron James.
Wasn't happening.
Because you can say, hey, we're really appreciative, but the reality is, are you?
At the center of this storm stands Rich Paul and Clutch Sports Group. That partnership between LeBron and his longtime agent is one of the most powerful alliances in modern sports. Together, they've negotiated massive contracts, influenced team moves, and changed how elite players interact with front offices. It's a power duo that reshaped the business side of the NBA. But Gottlieb's argument cuts deep here. He suggests power works both ways. When public comments about chasing championships hit the headlines, but a player opts into a contract worth over $50 million, people around the league start connecting dots. Fair or not, eyebrows go up. The money side of this debate is where things get tense. In the NBA salary cap system, every dollar counts. Opting into a massive deal while pushing for a stacked roster creates real pressure. That's not personal. That's math. Gottlieb keeps it simple. If winning is the top priority, sacrifices usually follow. Take less, free up space, add pieces. That's what some legends in the past have done. So when LeBron secures the full salary and the team struggles to land elite additions, critics see a gap between message and move. They see words about rings and actions that keep the cap tight. That's the contradiction they're highlighting.
Let me make this clear. Over the past year, just the past year alone, we'll make it 13 months a year. Is that okay? Over the past year, the Lakers have hired a guy he co-hosted a podcast with as the head coach of the Lakers. And look, I get it. Like, I'm not that different from the JJ Redick hire. Okay? But it's the head coach of the Lakers, and they hired him. Okay. They also drafted Bronny James, and then all made statements like Bronny had earned the right to be a second-round pick, when that's not even close to accurate.
Not possible.
Then they played Bronny the first game of the season. And throughout times in the NBA season, well, give him a guaranteed 4-year contract, despite the fact he was like, what, the 55th pick in the NBA draft? So the worst thing they did, and then if you predate that, they went out and got Anthony Davis. They overpaid for Anthony Davis. Why? He was a Rich Paul client. And when they struck out the first time around, they went back in the offseason and went after him and got him. Overpaid for him. Remember, they got Russell Westbrook on the LA Lakers. Why? They were going to get DeMar DeRozan. That was the guy. Well documented. DeMar DeRozan was going to be the third guy. But what happened was LeBron was like, nah, we like Russell Westbrook better.
Then there's the aftershock from past decisions. The Anthony Davis trade cost the Lakers a huge chunk of their young core. In the short term, it worked. Banner number 17 went up. But long term, it shifted the franchise's foundation. The Russell Westbrook move added even more drama. That experiment didn't just fall short on the court. It squeezed roster flexibility and led to seasons of adjustments and instability. Critics argue these weren't random missteps. They were part of an aggressive win-now mindset strongly aligned with LeBron's timeline. And here's where it gets tricky. Alternatives reportedly existed. DeMar DeRozan was said to be within reach at certain moments. Other roster builds might have created better balance. But when management follows the superstar's vision and sustained success doesn't follow, the accountability question gets loud. So who owns it? The front office for signing off on every move, or the superstar whose voice carried the most weight in the room? That's the tension Doug Gottlieb tapped into. And that's why this debate isn't fading anytime soon. That's where leadership gets put under a bright light. LeBron has long been praised as the teammate who lifts everyone up, the guy who makes the right pass, the smart read, the winning play. But Gottlieb spins it differently. He says LeBron is selfless between the lines, yet strategic off the court, always calculating, always protecting leverage, always keeping his next move in sight. This isn't framed as an attack on his character. It's about priorities. When every big decision feels tied to personal control, the vibe can shift. What once looked like strong leadership starts to feel transactional. And in the public eye, perception matters just as much as reality. Another layer of pressure comes from the shifting power dynamic inside the Lakers organization. Ownership and the front office have started signaling something clear, a future that stretches beyond LeBron. Younger talent, long-term cap flexibility, patience over panic moves. That's a different tone than win right now at all costs. For the first time in years, it feels like the Lakers aren't automatically folding to every superstar preference. And when a franchise quietly prepares for life after its biggest icon, tension is almost guaranteed. That kind of shift changes the energy in the building. Zoom out across the league and the landscape looks different too. Teams are investing in youth, chemistry, and long-term plans instead of fast, star-driven fixes. The era where one superstar could fully steer the ship seems to be cooling off. And for a player who mastered leverage like a chess grandmaster, even a small dip in control can hit hard. Some critics tie this moment to a bigger career pattern. When LeBron left Miami and later Cleveland, those franchises felt the impact instantly. He has always had the power to pivot, to reset the board, to reinvent his situation. But now the math is tougher. Age is a factor. Contracts are tighter. The league is deeper. Dictating outcomes isn't as simple as it once was. Gottlieb's stance is that the visible frustration isn't only about roster moves. It may reflect a new reality. His leverage is not what it used to be. And that's a major shift for someone who built a career controlling the narrative. Then there's the Bronny storyline, easily one of the most emotional parts of this entire situation. Seeing a father and son share an NBA stage is historic. It's pride, legacy, and opportunity all wrapped into one powerful image. At the same time, critics say it placed the Lakers in a delicate spot, balancing development, expectations, and competitive standards. Bronny is a young player at the start of his journey, working to earn his place like any rookie. Whether he locks in a long-term role will depend on growth and performance. Still, the belief that the decision was influenced by LeBron adds another layer to the control conversation. Coaching changes have also fueled debate. The exits of Frank Vogel and Darvin Ham showed how fast leadership can shift when expectations aren't met. In superstar-centered systems, coaches often take the first hit. Gottlieb argues that this pattern supports the idea that LeBron's voice extends beyond the hardwood and into the structure of the organization itself. Of course, LeBron's defenders aren't staying quiet. They remind everyone he delivered a championship. He boosted the franchise's global spotlight. He carried intense pressure year after year without off-court controversy. And they make a key point. Every all-time great had influence. Magic had it. Kobe had it. Jordan had it. The difference now? Social media magnifies every move in real time. Still, the financial debate remains central. If a player pushes for a championship roster while taking up a massive chunk of the salary cap, building depth becomes complicated. That's not personal, it's numbers. Title runs often require sacrifice across the board, from players to executives. And now, the Lakers appear to be eyeing a reset, target future talent, protect cap space, prepare for the next chapter. In that picture, LeBron stands as both a legend and a bridge to what's next. An era-defining figure, but maybe not the foundation of the next one. For Gottlieb, the core issue isn't just about basketball strategy, it's about appreciation and balance. He believes the Lakers gave extraordinary support, and now the spotlight is on whether that loyalty ran both ways. Roster control, coaching influence, personal accommodations that most players never sniff in their careers. When one star is connected to that much organizational sway, people take notice. And when public messaging hints at frustration after all those concessions, the perception of ingratitude starts to grow. Fair or unfair, that perception is sticking in certain circles, and it's getting louder. The timing makes everything feel even more dramatic. LeBron is deep into the final stretch of a legendary career. Every move feels bigger now. Every quote gets dissected. Every contract becomes symbolic of something larger than basketball. He's not just chasing wins anymore. He's shaping how history will remember him. And legacy isn't built on stats alone. It's built on moments, tone, and how the story ends. Then there's the Luka factor hovering over the league. The rise of Luka Doncic and the new wave of young superstars signals a shift in spotlight and power. The headlines are changing. The energy is shifting. That transition can feel smooth on the outside, but inside it can hit hard. For critics, it screams that a new era has arrived. For veterans, it's a reminder that time does not pause for anyone. This whole situation shows how complex modern sports really are. Superstars carry massive influence. Franchises rely on them for relevance, revenue, and global buzz. Agents help steer the business side. Media magnifies every detail. Fans judge everything through loyalty and emotion. In that environment, even one contract decision can explode into a full debate about character, leadership, and legacy. Gottlieb's words may sound sharp, but they tap into a deeper question that has followed LeBron for years. Is he the ultimate team-first icon or the ultimate power player who mastered control? Depending on who you ask, he might be both. He's built title teams, shifted franchise directions, and delivered unforgettable playoff runs. At the same time, he's operated with a level of influence rarely seen in sports history. As this season unfolds and the Lakers map out their next chapter, the spotlight will not dim. Every game matters. Every roster tweak gets analyzed. Every comment fuels the storyline. Whether LeBron answers critics with another championship charge, a strategic move elsewhere, or a calm transition toward retirement, the debate over selfishness versus leadership is locked in, and it's not fading anytime soon. And now the pressure shifts from talk to results, because at some point, debates stop being about opinions and start being about outcomes. The Lakers can only live in theory for so long. Either this partnership delivers another deep playoff run, or the noise grows even louder. Inside that locker room, the stakes are real. Veterans are fighting for one more shot at a title. Younger players are trying to prove they belong in the long-term picture. That mix can be powerful or unstable. When timelines don't match, tension builds fast. And in a season packed with expectations, patience runs thin. There's also the business side humming in the background. The Lakers are one of the NBA's biggest brands. Every decision impacts ticket sales, TV ratings, global attention. LeBron isn't just a player. He's an industry. That kind of presence brings opportunity, but it also brings pressure. When performance dips even slightly, critics don't whisper, they broadcast. If the front office truly is pivoting toward youth and flexibility, then this season becomes a crossroads. Do they double down on building around LeBron one last time? Or do they quietly shift assets, protect cap space, and prepare for the next superstar wave? That choice defines everything. And let's be real, LeBron has never shied away from high-stakes moments. His career has been built on bold moves. The decision, the Miami championships, the Cleveland comeback, the Los Angeles title. Each chapter came with doubt, and each chapter reshaped the narrative. That's what makes this stretch so fascinating. Is there one more power move left? Because if he leads another serious run, critics will have to recalibrate fast. Winning erases a lot of noise, but if the season falls short, the questions about control, sacrifice, and shifting influence will only grow louder. This isn't just about one player or one team anymore. It's about how modern superstars age in real time. It's about how franchises balance loyalty with long-term survival. And it's about how legends protect their name when the spotlight starts tilting toward the next generation. The next few moves, on and off the court, could define how this entire era is remembered. And in a league that never sleeps, every decision from here on out feels massive. Now comes the legacy scoreboard, and this is where everything gets real. Because when the dust settles, fans don't just remember contracts or press conferences. They remember how the story felt at the end. Was it dominance, drama, redemption, or slow decline under a bright spotlight? LeBron's career has always been about control of the narrative. From high school phenom to global icon, he stayed steps ahead of the conversation. When critics doubted him in Miami, he answered with rings. When Cleveland needed a miracle, he delivered one of the greatest finals performances ever. In Los Angeles, he brought a championship back to a franchise craving another banner. That's heavyweight history, but the final chapters hit different. There's no long runway left. Every playoff exit feels heavier. Every roster flaw feels louder. And when analysts question sacrifice or leadership, it lands harder now than it would have 10 years ago. That's just reality when you're a legend still playing in a league getting younger by the second. There's also the silent comparison game happening. The Jordan debates, the all-time rankings, the GOAT conversations that never cool off. Fair or not, every move LeBron makes feeds that argument machine. If he takes less money to help build a contender, people will call it commitment. If he protects his contract, others will call it business over banners. Either way, the microscope stays locked in. And don't ignore the emotional weight. Playing alongside his son already cemented a historic milestone. That moment alone shifted how many people view his journey. It showed the human side, longevity, family, pride. But history can be layered. One chapter can inspire, another can complicate the picture. What happens next could shape the tone of everything that came before it. A surprise finals push flips the entire narrative overnight. A quiet playoff exit fuels the critics who say the power era is fading. And a strategic move to another contender? That would shake the league all over again. In the end, this isn't just about whether he's selfish or selfless. It's about how power, loyalty, money, and ambition collide when a superstar refuses to fade quietly. LeBron has rewritten the rules before. The question now is simple. Does he have one more rewrite left in him, or is the league already turning the page? And now, it all comes down to this moment. The noise is loud, the opinions are split, and the spotlight has never been brighter. Doug Gottlieb threw the challenge out there, questioning loyalty, sacrifice, and leadership. LeBron's legacy is standing right in the middle of that storm. Some fans see a four-time champion who carried franchises, delivered under pressure, and changed the business of basketball forever. Others see a superstar who mastered influence, shaped rosters to fit his timeline, and protected his leverage at every turn. Both views exist at the same time. That's what makes this debate so intense. The Lakers are at a crossroads. Build for one last run, or pivot toward the future and let a new era take over. Every decision from here feels heavy. Every loss will spark talk. Every win will shift the tone. That's the reality when a legend is still active and the clock is ticking. LeBron has never backed down from pressure. He's faced doubt his entire career and answered with performances that silenced arenas. But this chapter feels different. It's not just about dropping 30 points or hitting a clutch shot. It's about perception. It's about sacrifice. It's about whether control and championships can still coexist in today's NBA landscape. And here's the truth. This story is still being written. One playoff run could flip everything. One bold move could shock the league again. Or maybe the transition happens quietly, with respect and reflection. No matter how it ends, the conversation about power versus team-first mentality will follow him long after the final buzzer sounds. So now it's your turn. Is LeBron being unfairly targeted, or is there real weight behind the criticism? Does winning require more sacrifice at this stage, or has he already given enough to the game? Drop your take in the comments and let's really talk about it. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit that like button so more fans can join the conversation. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next deep dive into the biggest stories in sports. Share this video with someone who has strong opinions about LeBron and see where they stand. We're just getting started with these debates, and the next chapter is going to be wild. Tap in, stay locked, and I'll see you on the next one.